First of all, I feel like we're in constant conference cycle. I don't think we ever get out of it. And I think with regard to DMEXCO and many of the other major tentpoles, it is more important than ever before to participate, fish where the fish are, have efficient conversations. It's very, very difficult, given the plethora of choice for marketers and their agencies in terms of what's available to them. Very, very difficult to do meetings one by one throughout the year. And so I think the emergence of new conferences like a DMEXCO, which I think is just eight or 9 years old, it's important to be there, to have the conversations with some of the emerging companies, the evolving and evolved companies, to talk about the implications for your business, whatever your business might be, to talk about the applications for your business, whatever your business might be. So they're more important, I think, than ever before, given the choice.
And what do you hope that your clients, get out of being there?
Well, I think there are a few things. Of course, it is exposure to the new, to the next, to the current. It's an opportunity to network at all levels with companies you do business with companies you should be doing business with, and I think very, very importantly, to look at talent. And I think it's been the case for many, many years now that our talent pool needs to change in all of the ecosystem. The rinse and repeat, draw from the usual suspects for the usual assignments. There's nothing usual about this marketplace. And so I think a solid understanding of who and what is available out there from a talent standpoint, it's pretty eye-opening. So I hope a lot of our clients meet some fascinating new people with different skills and different opportunities for them to engage, from a talent standpoint. Very important.
And Wenda, there's so much disruption and changes, and you've changed a lot in your career. What do you have in what advice would you give to people who are sort of maybe coming out of, well, either young people who are looking for a career or people who are somewhat established in what would say a traditional media or an agency track? What are your thoughts about change and progress?
Well, I think one of the things that is unusual about the era that we're living in right now is the combination of the volume and the velocity of change. Either one individually would be stunning, but combined, it's mind-boggling. And so I think what's very, very important for people is to exploit your curiosity. And there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to watch for. None of us has a great ability to look around the corner, but we do need to exercise our curiosity. I think that we also need to stay very, very optimistic in an environment where there's a lot of challenge and change and concern about some of the traditional companies, structures, legacy cultures. There's a lot to be concerned about, but there's a lot to be very, very optimistic about. I think what people need to exercise in this incredibly evolving economy is their own curiosity, take it as far as you can take it, and your level of optimism. It's a lot easier to be optimistic than not.
How do you see the marketplace changing in terms of buying and selling and perhaps funding?
I think right now there's a lot of appetite for consolidation, and that comes from a couple of different areas. One is just buyer fatigue. There are too many companies out there that are not necessarily companies. A lot of them are features. And I think buyers are very anxious for a lot of the ad tech and martech companies to consolidate just for ease of use, if you will. So there's a fatigue factor in there. Because there has not been as many IPOs as in years past and some failed ones, I think the market is looking for other ways to maybe aggregate and consolidate. So there is a tremendous amount of interest on the buy side. And I think the trend toward globalization of so many of these companies that either were born in the United States and have a certain level of success here, or those who were born outside of the U.S. wanting to come in. I think there are a lot of factors in the marketplace that point to more M&A activity in these coming months. There's a big appetite for that. I think where MediaLink's sits today is, we kind of think of it as where Madison Avenue meets Silicon Valley, meets Hollywood, meets Wall Street. So we're sitting at that nexus, at that cross point, at that point of convergence that we've been talking about for years and years. And I think we're serving all of those disparate industries that will not be so disparate as we move forward. So we're doing a lot of work in organizational design, a lot of work in talent, a lot of work in benchmarking, best practices. I think most people know we did about $20 billion of the $30 billion in media reviews that were up for grabs in the last 18 months. A lot of work helping the emerging companies accelerate growth, a lot of work in helping the emerged companies manage growth. And of course, in the world of the private equity firms and the M&A activity that we were talking about, helping those companies figure out who they should be buying, who they should be investing in, and as important, not.